I lost my dad when I was a kid. That's been the defining fact of my life, just this like unrelenting.
Grey's Anatomy is facing backlash once again, this time for what fans are calling the death of queer representation. In her recent article, film and TV editor Jasmine Davies reflects on how the long-running ABC medical drama has drifted far from its inclusive roots following the season 22 premiere. In the episode, the show killed off beloved bisexual surgeon Dr. Monica Beltran, played by Natalie Morales, effectively ending a potential romance with Dr. Amelia Shepard, Katerina Scorsone. Fans had spent 2 seasons waiting for Monmelia to happen, only for it to end in tragedy. To make matters worse, Amelia announces in episode 2 that she's taking an 8-episode sabbatical, meaning one of the few remaining queer-coded characters won't return until 2026. With Levi Schmidt and Mika Yasuda also gone, viewers are asking, who's left to represent the LGBTQ+ community at Grey Sloan Memorial? Grey's Anatomy was once a trailblazer for queer visibility on network TV, giving fans iconic couples like Callie and Arizona, and characters like Karina DeLuca and Kai Bartley. But as Davies points out, that legacy is fading fast. What was once a series that celebrated queer love now seems to destroy it almost as quickly as it appears. Online, fans have started using the hashtag #OnSabbaticalWithShepard, joking about boycotting the show until Amelia returns. But behind the humor lies real disappointment, a feeling that Grey's Anatomy has forgotten what made it revolutionary in the first place. Davies ends with a sobering thought. If Grey's can't return to its roots of authentic queer storytelling, maybe it's finally time to pull the plug. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Grey's Anatomy and the death of queer representation. Film and TV editor Jasmine Davies comments on the decline of queer characters in Grey's Anatomy following the recent season 22 premiere. Written by Jasmine Davies. Film and TV editor, second-year digital media and communications student. Published at 14:30 on October 21, 2025. Images by X at GreySapk. Spoilers for Grey's Anatomy Season 22. For a show that I originally discovered because of its queer representation, it's crazy to see how far it has fallen. In the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere, yes, it's really been going on for that long, showrunners decided to kill off the beloved bisexual pediatric surgeon Monica Beltran, Natalie Morales, and in doing so they may have killed off much of their queer fanbase. Do you remember the days of Grey's Anatomy where queer fans thrived? Where Calzona were as strong as ever. Do you remember the days of Grey's Anatomy where queer fans thrived? Where Calzona, aka Callie and Arizona, Sarah Ramirez and Jessica Capshaw were as strong as ever. The seasons where Karina DeLuca, Stefania Spampinato, graced our screens? We were too busy crying over another disaster that hit the hospital that we didn't realize just how lucky we were. Dr. Beltran first graced our screens in the season 20 premiere, and ever since, the show had subtly hinted that she and Amelia Shepard, Katerina Scorsone, would eventually end up together. Despite Amelia's fluid sexuality being hinted at throughout the show, she didn't have her first fluid relationship until season 18, where she met non-binary neuroscientist Kai Bartley, Fightmaster. Unfortunately, their relationship became rocky. They broke up, and Kai left the show. However, the introduction of Monica Beltran put a new ship on the horizon, Monmelia, Monica and Amelia. Monmelia fans were waiting for the slow burn to burn a little faster, but instead we got Till Death Do Us Part. Speaking of Amelia Shepard, and as much as it hurts to write this, in season 22, episode 2, she announced she'd be taking a sabbatical. Meaning we won't see our favorite neurosurgeon for the next 8 episodes. In other words, we won't be seeing the iconic Amelia Shepard on our screens till 2026. Amelia is arguably one of the only reasons a lot of people still watch Grey's Anatomy. She's the show's saving grace. Many of the OG characters have long left the show, or been killed off. And despite not being a character since day one, Amelia is a fan favorite due to fans falling in love with her on the popular spin-off Private Practice. We have waited months for Amelia to grace our screens again, and instead we're rewarded with a half-a-season hiatus from our favorite character? Fans have even joked, though I'm not sure it's a joke at this point, that they'll be boycotting the show till 2026, using the hashtag on sabbatical with Shepard. As tempting as it may be, I've spent way too many years of my life hooked on this show to stop now. Amelia is arguably one of the only reasons a lot of people still watch Grey's Anatomy. So now that Monica is dead, and now that Amelia is gone for a while, what queer characters do we have left? Levi Schmidt, Jake Borelli, said farewell last season. Mika Yasuda, Midori Francis, also left, ending the blossoming relationship between her and Jules Millen, Adelaide Kane. I mean, we still have Taryn Helm, if the show decides to give her some screen time. Basically, for upcoming episodes, we're stuck with Joe, Camilla Luddington, and Link, Chris Carmack, and whatever the hell is going on with Teddy, Kim Raver, and Owen, Kevin McKidd. As much as we may joke about the decline of queer representation, the impact runs deeper than we think. Grey's Anatomy was one of the first network shows to feature major queer characters. It was a show that pushed boundaries. It showed young viewers that it was okay for two women to fall in love and get married. Queer love was celebrated, not destroyed almost as quickly as it was created. I hope Grey's Anatomy can one day go back to its roots. If not, cancellation may be the best ending. Grey's Anatomy Season 22, Episode 3 Meredith, Nick, and Winston clash over lung transplant. Watch promo and check release schedule. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 3 promo teases high-stakes lung transplant drama at Grey Sloan Memorial. Doctors Meredith Grey, Ben Warren, Miranda Bailey, Nick Marsh, and Winston Dugu face life-or-death decisions, balancing risk and urgency. Fans can catch the episode on October 23, 2025, via ABC and Hulu. The latest promo for Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 3 gives fans a glimpse of the intense medical situations waiting at Grey Sloan Memorial. One of the main storylines involves a young child in urgent need of a lung transplant. The promo shows two dads willing to donate part of their lungs to save their child. While parents are often the best match for such procedures, live lung donations carry serious risks. The transplant might not even succeed, and the clock is ticking, which adds tension to the storyline. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 3 promo. Meredith Grey is shown to be concerned about the dangers of the surgery and wants to make sure the parents understand every possible risk. On the other hand, Dr. Nick Marsh is focused on making the transplant happen quickly, knowing that time is critical. Winston Dugu is also uneasy about the idea, highlighting how rare and risky such living donor lung surgeries are in real life. The promo sets up a dramatic scenario where the doctors must weigh the urgency of the child's condition against the dangers of the operation. What to expect in Episode 3 of Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Episode 3 promises to dive deeper into these medical challenges while also focusing on key characters at the hospital. Dr. Ben Warren starts his first day as chief resident, an exciting step in his career. The promo hints that he will participate in a complex transplant surgery, which could be connected to the child's lung transplant storyline. Ben is thrilled to take part in this type of surgery, even though Meredith and Winston highlight the dangers. His excitement and experience as a former anesthesiologist bring a mix of confidence and tension to the operating room. At the same time, Dr. Miranda Bailey has her own demanding cases to handle. She will manage a trauma patient whose treatment is uncertain, requiring her to make quick and critical decisions. While the promo does not reveal all the details of this patient's condition, it is clear that Bailey will be tested both professionally and emotionally. When and where to watch Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 3. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 3 is scheduled to air on Thursday, October 23, 2025. Fans in the United States can catch the episode at 7 p.m. Pacific Time and 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Ask Matt, TV's Killing Frenzy, binge-watching Diplomat, Ghosts, and more. Welcome to the Q&A with TV critic, also known to some TV fans as their TV therapist, Matt Roush. We'll try to address whatever you love, loathe, are confused, or frustrated, or thrilled by in today's vast TV landscape. We know background music is too loud. It's the most frequent complaint, but there's always closed captioning. Check out this story for more tips. One caution: this is a spoiler-free zone, so we won't be addressing upcoming storylines here unless it's already common knowledge. Please send your questions and comments to askmatt@tinsider.com. Look for Ask Matt columns on most Tuesdays. Bored by TV's deadly tactics. Question, we're back in the fall season, and already my biggest gripe with TV storytelling is already well into play. Let's kill off characters as the only idea writers seem to have. The perennially notorious Grey's Anatomy is already doing it, and HBO's task is frustrating me, as it seems that's the only thing that happens each episode. And I have yet to finish the last few episodes of 911 last season, and am not ready to dive back into this season because of what they did to Peter Krause. I'll always blame 24, which pioneered it back in the 2000s as the trend. There's more to just killing off characters as shock value. Sometimes it's gripping television. I still remember Maggie's demise in Falcon Crest, which haunted me as a kid, but a lot of it is just lazy storytelling and pretty disrespectful to the viewer when it's a little unnecessary. I mean, characters can have happy endings too. First, Grey's. I am shocked the producers had the audacity to defend it as necessary. Task is frustrating me on a lot of levels. It's no Mayor of Easttown, that's for sure. Every episode someone is killed. Yawn. Always the more interesting characters. A lot of the other characters look the same, and I really can't distinguish between a few of them. Mark Ruffalo appears sedated too. I am just waiting for the most interesting one, the always wonderful Martha Plimpton, to bite the dust. She hasn't yet. What's your take on the one-note storytelling theme of TV writers? I mean, it's super lazy. Alex. Matt Roush. This is an awfully dark take on a dark subject, and because I tend to look at each situation and show differently, I'll start by pushing back on the whole idea of lazy storytelling. The very fact that you still remember Maggie's death on Falcon Crest all these years later is an indication that under the right circumstances, a character's demise can have dramatic impact, and that's all I require to justify this sort of twist. It's also helpful to remember that most serialized TV shows operate in the world of melodrama, which means there are going to be tragic lows and occasionally shocking losses. 911 sacrificing its lead character qualifies along the way. It's how showrunners hope to keep things interesting over the long run, which sometimes works and sometimes backfires, but because many of these shows, like 24, tell stories with life and death stakes, there inevitably will be casualties. Sometimes major ones. That's my general view of the subject. To zero in on your more recent examples, I would have been more surprised if Grey's Anatomy hadn't killed somebody off after that cliffhanger explosion. It can be argued that they played it safe by sacrificing a recent and relatively marginal character who wasn't a regular. Killing Link would have been much more polarizing. And I'm not as down on Task as Alex. It's definitely a downbeat show, fatalistic in fact, which accounts for the high body count among key characters. But in most of these cases, the deaths felt almost inevitable because of their circumstances, which could translate as predictable, I suppose. I agree Task doesn't have the cumulative impact of Mayor of Easttown, but I was still moved by the end. And very happy that Martha Plimpton's fabulously sardonic character survived. To binge or not to binge? Question. I was delighted to see that you gave a 5-star review to the latest season of The Diplomat. This series has become a favorite, and as you pointed out, it was a pleasant surprise to discover I didn't have to wait multiple years between Season 2 and Season 3 to resolve that cliffhanger. What a treat. My only complaint is that Netflix still insists on releasing all episodes at once. Last year, I told myself I would only watch one episode a week, allowing my entertainment pleasure to linger. I failed miserably, though, and binged the 6 episodes over 2 nights. It's very difficult to hold back when the storytelling is this good. I'm going to try again and hope I find more discipline. My question for you. Now that so many shows offer far fewer episodes than the once standard 22, and entire seasons are available before the first episode airs, do you binge watch shows, or do you allow yourself to consume some seasons on a week-by-week basis? I would imagine that, as a TV critic, being able to complete an entire season before giving a full review has its benefits. If you do binge an entire season, do you feel it impacts your enjoyment one way or the other? I love the Ask Matt column. Kelly D. Matt Roush. This is a topic I struggle with quite frequently. I'm not a fan of the binge model, feeling that it tends to amplify a show's weaknesses when consuming a number of episodes in fast succession. I also selfishly like being able to call attention to specific episodes during the weekly run of a show in my daily worth-watching column, something you can't do when a show drops its entire season at once, and in the case of Netflix, drops another dozen or so shows within a week. effectively cannibalizing anyone's attention span. But then there are shows like The Diplomat, where waiting a week between episodes would feel like torture, and with only 8 episodes, 2 more than in season 2, it feels more like what happens when you experience a gripping page-turner you can't put down and you race to the end. The downside, of course, is that when you consume something so quickly, the wait for the next season is even more excruciating. But since you asked about my process when previewing a new series, I do tend to watch an entire season at once, or however many episodes they make available before premiere. Or if I'm preparing a standalone review of a new season, as in the case of The Diplomat, I'll try to watch it in its entirety as well. But even we who do this for a living only have so much time in a day or a week, so in many cases with ongoing streaming series, I'll watch the episodes weekly to preview in the worth-watching space, experiencing them much as anyone else does. And that is my preferred way of watching most weekly series, enjoying the anticipation of what's next. The way it used to be. Ghosts' happy sucking sound. Question: what did you think of Carol being sucked off on Ghosts? I think it was pretty clear that Jay was not going to die and go to hell because that would have been an extremely dark turn for this show. But I loved that I didn't have a clue how the issue of his deal with Elias would be resolved. When Carol first died a couple of seasons ago without being upgraded to series regular, I expected her to have a quick arc to reconcile with Pete and then get sucked off. When that didn't happen, I kind of forgot about that idea and got used to her being one of those ghosts we just see from time to time. So by the time this episode rolled around, I was actually legitimately surprised. I would not have thought to tie Carol to the resolution of Jay's fate, but they did a really great job of making this work. I loved that she was able to do right by Pete for once, and that the writers were able to give closure to that relationship. At the same time, it was great to see the ghosts rally around Jay and how much he means to them. The only shame is that we won't be seeing Caroline Aaron on the show again. I would not have expected saving Jay to cause reconciliation between Pete and Carol, but the writers really pulled this off in a satisfying way. Your thoughts? Jake. Will Philly ever get the Emmy love it deserves? Question: I'm a big fan and have been reading your articles for years. Part of me is shocked that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is still on, and has been since the first email you answered of mine back when TGIF was coming to a close for the second time. But I also feel the shift to every 18 months or so has reignited their comedic timing and overall writing. While I don't think they ever really declined to the point of other long-lasting sitcoms, the episodes they delivered this year were hilarious. The Abbott crossover, brilliant. Rehearsing for the dinner party, shockingly heartwarming. The tribute to Lynn Marie Stewart at the end of episode 7 had me in tears. Or one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen of any show, Mac and Dennis become EMTs. While I know the Emmys invited them to present last year, do you think there's any chance they actually get recognized in the future? Especially when they're delivering consistently funny performances, especially this late in their record-breaking run, as opposed to drama/comedy hybrid performances like other popular shows, or do you think it's been on too long for critics to notice at this point? Caitlin Olsen, in particular, has given year after year of self-deprecating physical humor to her role, only to never be recognized as what I see as one of the all-time great performances in a sitcom by a female performer, yet has yet to secure a nomination in any major category. Just wondering your thoughts about Sunny, or if you've watched any of the show recently. Thanks for always having a great column to read. Bill. Matt Roush. I agree that Philadelphia's latest compact season, with only 8 episodes, had lots of memorable high points amidst the reliably low comedy. But as you probably suspect, my reading of the Emmy tea leaves leans toward the opinion that if the show and its cast were ever going to get acknowledged, that would have happened by now. I've learned never to say never, but for this show, its longevity may be reward enough. Is Fox's reality strategy paying off? Question: have you heard how the ratings are for the regular Fox broadcasting network? Considering there's only one night right now of actual legit scripted drama. I know it's cheaper to do that, but the network can suffer anyway. You know, what they are doing is reminding me of when ABC put on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire every night of the week. I didn't watch it, but I'm well aware the people got burned out on it because it aired too much. Do you think that's happening with Fox and them airing reality shows most nights? I'm not a fan of them. Game shows are a little better. Andrew R. Matt Roush. I really don't pay much attention to ratings unless a show really breaks through, because linear viewership is only part of the metrics gauging success or failure anymore. But I checked out a couple of ratings websites in response to this question, looking back at the most recent available week of October 6, and wasn't surprised that most of Fox's shows that aren't sports are pretty far down the list. The Fox schedule, with most nights devoted to either game shows or reality competitions, cooking and otherwise, is largely a consequence of the network being separated from its original studio. If they were still aligned with 20th Television, for example, 911 would almost certainly still be thriving there instead of on ABC. These relatively inexpensive reality and game shows represent a survival tactic, and while there are diminishing returns with so much sameness and so few scripted tentpoles, if you don't count animation, that's becoming ever more common on broadcast TV. And finally, comment. I know you have addressed this plenty of times before, but network executives have no one but themselves to blame for their shrinking ratings. It is completely confusing to have new seasons of TV shows start at different times, and then they make it worse by airing a show on a different night. I completely missed that Matlock was on Sunday night until I saw the story on your website, since I thought it started Thursday with the other Thursday CBS shows. I realize appointment television days are over, but this is just total chaos for viewers to have to keep track of 100 different start times. Bring back season premiere week after the Emmys, so we have a clue when shows are even on. Terry. Matt Roush. I also find it jarring that CBS waited until mid-October to launch its traditional lineup, with the apparent reasoning having something to do with using the first weeks of the NFL season as a promotional tool. The stunt of launching Matlock on Sunday instead of its regular Thursday time period seems to have paid off with robust numbers following football and 60 Minutes, and there are ways either on demand or on CBS's website to catch up with episodes you missed, for those who aren't also subscribers to Paramount+. But I get it. Confusing viewers is never a good strategy. Where are these stars of Grey's Anatomy now? The longest-running medical drama in American television history is known for its big stars and dramatic deaths. Where are the stars of Grey's Anatomy these days? Grey's Anatomy is the longest-running medical drama in American television history. The beloved show, which is entering its 22nd season, has launched the careers of more than a dozen actors and is still stirring up drama in Seattle. While most of the original cast has left the show, going on to star in other iconic television shows on Broadway and in film, there are a few holdouts. Ellen Pompeo still stars in the show as its main narrator, Chandra Wilson plays Dr. Miranda Bailey, and James Pickens Jr. appears as Dr. Richard Webber. But where are the stars who left the medical drama now? From Patrick Dempsey, whose departure from the show devastated fans, to Sandra Oh, who left the show in 2014, breaking up one of the most iconic female friendships in TV history, we've taken a look back at all the other stars who have left Grey's Anatomy over the years. Tessa Farrer. Tessa Farrer starred as Dr. Leah Murphy from 2012 to 2017. Her character was initially fired in Season 10 for not being skilled enough to be a surgeon, was brought back in Season 13, and then abruptly disappeared from the show. Since leaving Grey's, Tessa has starred in Swagger and in Hulu's Catch 22 alongside her first cousin once removed, George Clooney. Jesse Williams. Jackson Avery, played by Jesse Williams, left towards the end of Season 17 after relocating to Boston. Since then, he made brief cameos in the Season 18 finale and in a Season 19 episode, which he also directed. Jesse has since appeared in other TV shows since leaving the show, including Little Fires Everywhere, Only Murders in the Building, and the Broadway production of Take Me Out. Sandra Oh. After 10 seasons starring as fan favorite Christina Young, Sandra Oh decided it was time to move on and hung up her scrubs for a final time in 2014. Since then, the actress has become internationally known for her role in the Emmy Award-winning spy thriller series Killing Eve. Last week, Sandra made her musical debut in the opera La Fille du Regiment. Katherine Heigl. Katherine Heigl rose to fame playing intern Dr. Izzy Stevens on the ABC series, but is better known these days for her many movie roles, including 27 Dresses, Knocked Up, and New Year's Eve. More recently, she returned to TV and starred in the Netflix series Firefly Lane alongside former Scrubs star Sarah Chalke. Patrick Dempsey. Fans were devastated when Dr. Derek Shepherd, Faye McDreamy, died in a car crash in the show's 11th season, and equally torn up when he reappeared in a dream sequence for Season 17. Since leaving the show, Patrick Dempsey has become a certified movie star, known for his roles in Enchanted, Maid of Honor, and Bridget Jones' Baby. T.R. Knight. Knight portrayed Dr. George O'Malley in the first 5 seasons of the show before hanging up his scrubs, although he has returned to make guest appearances over the years. He's also been seen in The Good Wife, The Catch, and more recently, The Flight Attendant, where he plays the older brother of Kaylee Cuoco's character, Kate Walsh. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kate Walsh was brought on to shake things up midway through the first season of Grey's Anatomy and played Derek's estranged wife, Dr. Addison Montgomery. After several seasons and a stint on spin-off series Private Practice, she left to pursue other roles. Viewers will have most recently seen her in Netflix hit Emily in Paris, where she played Madeline Wheeler, Lily Collins' character's former boss. Sarah Drew. Like co-star Patrick Dempsey, Sarah Drew also reprised her role after she left. She made her return as April Kepner at the end of season 17 when it was revealed that her on and off partner Jackson Avery, played by Jesse Williams, was moving away from Seattle. Between her time on the show, Sarah has appeared on the likes of Supernatural and Miami Medical, and has a recurring role on the teen series Cruel Summer. Eric Dane. Following his exit in 2012, Dr. Mark Sloan actor Eric Dane landed roles in The Fixer and Grey Lady. He went on to star in the HBO series Euphoria, where he played Nate's strict, demanding father with a secret life. The actor was diagnosed with ALS in April 2025, telling People, "I am grateful to have my loving family by my side as we navigate this next chapter. I kindly ask that you give my family and I privacy during this time." Kyler Lee. Kyler Lee made a name for herself playing Lexi Gray on the series, but these days is more well known for portraying Alex Danvers in the Arrowverse franchise, having appeared on Supergirl, Arrow, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. The actress is a mom to 3 children: Noah Wilde, 21, Taylon Lee, 19, and Aniston K, 16. Jericka Hinton. Jericka Hinton joined the cast of Grey's Anatomy in 2012 as new intern Stephanie Edwards and made her exit 5 years later in 2017. She went on to star in Apple TV thriller Servant and Amazon drama Hunters. Chandra Wilson talks new season of Grey's Anatomy. The actress, who stars as Dr. Miranda Bailey in ABC's long-running medical drama, shares what fans can expect from her character and teases what's ahead in season 22. Woman speaks out after sentencing of man who confessed on Facebook to sexual assault after a nearly 12-year odyssey for justice. Shannon Keeler was able to confront in court on Monday the man who confessed to sexually assaulting her at a 2013 fraternity party. "I was shaking and tearing up a bit, but it felt really good to be able to look him in the eyes and tell him what he did to me," Keeler told ABC News' Juju Chong in an interview that aired Tuesday on Good Morning America. Ian Cleary, the man accused of sexually assaulting Keeler at Gettysburg University in 2013, was sentenced Monday to 2 to 4 years in prison. "It definitely was shorter than we expected and less than I think he deserved," Keeler said of Cleary's sentence. "But you know what? He's going to jail and he's going to have the label of a sexual predator for the rest of his life, and that's accountability, and that's justice, and for that, I'm happy and I'm grateful and I'm relieved and I'm lucky." Keeler was a freshman lacrosse player at Gettysburg University in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, in 2013 when she went to a fraternity party where she said a male student, whom she identified as Cleary, kept bothering her. Keeler said that out of concern for her safety, a friend escorted her back to her dorm, but she said Cleary followed them. "There was a knock on the door. And, I just didn't think for a second it would be him," Keeler told Chong. "And I opened the door and it was him, and he came in uninvited." Once inside her dorm room, Keeler said she was sexually assaulted by Cleary. In court on Monday, Keeler read aloud a victim impact statement that described, in her own words, the trauma she said she experienced. "The trauma of that night wasn't confined to my dorm room. It changed how I saw myself," Keeler said, later adding, "My confidence, my self-care, my relationship with my body, all of it shifted in quiet, painful ways." Soon after the incident, Keeler said she reported the incident to campus and local police, who questioned her for hours and had her submit a rape kit. Despite her full cooperation with authorities, the district attorney at the time declined to charge Cleary. 7 years later, in 2020, Keeler was on vacation when she said she saw what appeared to be multiple Facebook messages from Cleary. One specific message, she said, admitted to the attack. "So, I raped you," Keeler said the message read in an interview with ABC News in 2021. "I'll never do it to anyone ever again." On June 30th, 2021, the Adams County District Attorney's Office announced that it had filed sexual assault charges against Cleary. 3 years after charges were filed, authorities found Cleary in France in 2024. Earlier this summer, he pleaded guilty to sexual assault. In court on Monday, Cleary apologized to Keeler and to his family. Keeler told Chong that she hopes her own long journey to justice helps other women too. "I mean, I am doing it for me, but I also recognize that I am just the complete minority," she said. "I am in a position where I can do something so many other women would too, if they were in my shoes." Keeler also said that she has forgiven Cleary, a position she said has given her freedom too. With time served, Cleary could be up for parole after 6 months state prison, following his sentencing on Monday. "Ultimately, forgiveness doesn't just set him free. It sets me free too, right? And I don't want to live with anger," she said. "I believe in redemption as well, and he still has the power to live a good life and become a good person and do the right thing, and